Hello, this will be a training on how you can withdraw funds that you have been accumulating from your previous USI-Tech balances and withdraw those from USI-Tech using a USI-Tech wallet. So this update is effective as of the 15th of April 2018 and will reflect recent developments. It will be a training but also an update. So the first thing to say is, of course, that this presentation has been prepared solely for informational purposes. It is not an offer to buy or sell or a solicitation of an offer to buy or sell any security, product, service, or investment, nor is it intending to provide financial, tax, legal, or accounting advice. Placements in the cryptocurrency markets should be considered high-risk placements. There is no recommendation in this presentation to purchase any product, service, security, or investment. The opinions expressed in this presentation do not constitute advice, and independent advice should be sought from a suitable qualified professional relative to your personal circumstances. All persons listening or reviewing this information should take their own responsibility to verify its accuracy and its relevance to their own personal circumstances. Each person is also responsible for determining the legal and regulatory status in any jurisdiction that is relevant to their circumstances. With that having been said, let's take a look at the recent history. We know that USI-Tech on February 24th announced that the BTC packages that were known to USI-Tech members up until that point, now called BTC Pack 1.0, would be terminated, and that a new type of BTC Pack Pack 2.0 would be launched. When they made that announcement, that followed an earlier announcement in relation to the United States and Canada on January the 5th, which was a termination by USI-Tech of the affiliate status of all USA and Canada affiliates. They had left open the possibility of the USA and Canada continuing to be customers. Now, on February 24th, USI-Tech said it would do a complete accounting of all the BTC 1.0 packages and would repay all USI-Tech members certain packs up to 100% of the original amount. The details, honestly, were not clear. USI-Tech said it would provide a full explanation when the process and audit was finished. And that process took quite some time, so it was expected to be a little bit faster, and it took until April the 9th for the migration of the data to be complete. So we now have a much better idea, and it's been 1 week since that migration was completed, so we've had a chance to see how it has been working in practice, and that's why this update is appropriate and timely. So this was their explanation of how the BTC packs would be handled. This is the current BTC packs, and they would be reset, or they would stay live until they reached a break-even point of 100%. So if you had a BTC pack that had already reached 100% or more, it would be reset, the value of it would be reset back to 100%. In other words, if your BTC pack was still active on February 24th, and it was above 100%, the profit you had earned above 100% would be discounted and would not be repaid. The second example is that you had an active BTC pack and it had received less than 100%. So there was a balance still owing to you, and the difference between the amount that has already been paid and 100% would be added to your balance. So that was how they explained the situation. The example didn't really cover all the different situations, so we were not entirely clear how it would all work out. And in the end of the day, it appears that it has been modified a couple of times. Still some things that are unclear, but we will do our best in this explanation to make it very clear for you, and also how to withdraw funds now. So the second illustration they made was how the current BTC packages will be paid, and that's the February 24 until they've reached a break-even point of 100%. So these will be BTC 1.0 packs and how they'll be repaid. So the company has Ethereum mining. It also has BTC mining. And to the extent that BTC mining is not needed for BTC Pack 2.0, it can be used for BTC Pack 1.0 repayment. So those three aspects, the Ethereum mining, the new BTC mining part of it, and then any unused BTC mining capacities that are not needed to cover BTC Pack 2.0 can also be used in that. In practice, it does not appear that there are many BTC 2.0 packs that are being purchased. So it appears that there's a fair amount of unused BTC mining capabilities that are also potentially available here, but we don't know that. There's no real transparency about that at the moment. Now, there have been a couple of announcements about USI-Tech mining and how it's being used for repayments. So USI-Tech did issue this notice saying that its mining used for repayment had already grown from 110 petahash to 130, and it told us that the process would start from 110 and move to 550 petahash by June. In this notice later in March, they told us that the petahash had grown from 110 to 130, so that's a pretty nice increase, almost 20% increase, and I think people have noticed a small increase. People are very frustrated with the slow progress, the pace of the repayments as they are at the moment. But USI-Tech indicates that the petahash will grow again in April 2018, although we haven't seen that as of today, the 15th, but there are 2 weeks left, of course. But as you can see in this update, the extra petahash is part of their rollout to reach their first major milestone of 550. They do say there's a next installment plan for 2018 April, and this should speed up the repayment. Every time more petahash is added, it speeds up the repayment of the old BTC Pack 2.0. And they tell us that we can see in the dashboard that we can see the cost behind the mining and so forth. So they will indicate future updates. So this is just to let you know that there is some progress in the mining, but the current level, I think everybody finds, is agonizingly slow. On April the 9th, USI-Tech announced that the migration was complete. So they indicated that the data migration for version 1.0 was complete. It looked as though some changes had been made from what had been announced in terms of what was covered and what wasn't. They've also announced that they've added an additional feature that will automatically transfer balances. So we had been having to manually do that. I'll explain what that meant, and then I'll also show you that you no longer need to do that, but there was a manual process. Many people were missing out on that and not keeping up to speed, and so they weren't transferring money, and so they thought they didn't have any money, but they were looking in the wrong place, basically. So, and this automatic transfer will happen once your balance reaches the required amount. I'll show you what that means in just a minute. They also explained some things about the mining. I'm not going to get into their explanations and why they are justifying things. This training is really going to be focused just on how to get your money back. So let's look at the status of withdrawing funds from USI-Tech. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So this is not a defense of the company, but there are people that are also falsely or incorrectly or unknowledgeably analyzing the status of the company. So let's get it very clear. Some people have said since the February 24th announcement that the BTC Pack 1.0 would be discontinued and the BTC Pack was launching, that their funds had disappeared or had been stolen. So this is either intentionally misstating the truth or just by virtue of not paying attention or not being aware, thinking that things have disappeared or stolen. As a matter of fact, and I will demonstrate that in a minute, the BTC packs from 1.0 were just moved to a new section in the back office. So it's not on the first page, it's in a separate section. Why is that? Because BTC pack 1.0 are no longer the active packs. So the first section is for the active packs, and the separate section is for the old packs. There have been several other changes that have been done by USI-Tech, and those have not been fully explained. They don't appear to be, in some cases, consistent with what USI-Tech had said earlier, so that's somewhat disconcerting and maybe very disconcerting to some people. Overall, the company does say, however, that people should be getting 100% back of their original seed capital, their original funds, and also if you had done rebuys, up to 100% of the rebuys. The reason for that is that once the company paid you either commissions or profits, that money was yours. And so, legally speaking, I believe the company probably got advice, I'm just speculating, but they probably got advice that they had to repay money to people that had lawfully been those people's money. They couldn't take it. And so the rebuys, as they clarified it, could be either from returns or from commissions. However, it does appear, and this is a change that appears to be the case for people from the USA and Canada, it appears that there is a recent change by USI-Tech that they are no longer repaying packs that have been bought with commissions for people from the USA and Canada. We are getting multiple reports about that, and that seems strange. We don't have any explanation from the company as to why they would be doing that. It may be that they're doing that because they terminated the USA distributors once in January, and then for reasons that are hard to understand, they did it again on April the 2nd. So it may be that they are not paying commissions because of that, but that's hard to understand because the commissions were paid before the termination. So it would be hard to understand why they wouldn't be obligated to repay that. So that's an open question and something that USI-Tech has not answered for anybody yet. Now, let's look at how you should actually find things. So what a lot of people were doing and reporting, they looked at their back office here, they saw this, where you see the X, right here, they saw the 0000, and they said, oh my God, the sky has fallen, my money's been stolen, scam, scam, thief, thief. And that's actually just not the right place to look, because this is the report when your site opens, it's the report for BTC Pack 2.0. So to find out where your 1.0 information is, you have to click on My Dashboard, which is indicated right here. So that's where you find the information, the amount of Bitcoin that USI has on record for you. It's not on the home page. So a lot of the reports that you hear that your money is disappeared or stolen are because people just simply didn't look in the right place. They looked here and they freaked out and they went off and never got the correct information or checked further. There's a lot of haters out there that have taken that and spun it for their purposes, but in fact that is incorrect. Now, in some fairness, this is not very obvious, and the company has never done any videos like this one or anything else to explain how people should find it. So there's fault to be found on both sides of the fence. Now, the second step is to, once you've clicked on My Dashboard, then you'll find this information which will tell you about your real status. So to get the details about your account, you will look on View and Use Repayments Made. This is about your 1.0 packages. And at some point you'll see these amounts picking up. But what you will see here is a report. And the top report here will be showing the amount of Bitcoin that has accumulated for all your packs that were paid up to 100% of the original BTC value. So there's nowhere that your packs are still recorded. Your old BTC packs are no longer there. It doesn't mean they've disappeared. It means they've been converted into a Bitcoin value. And that Bitcoin value that the company has calculated for your old packs is recorded here. Now they've also got remaining commissions earned that have not been withdrawn. So if you used commissions and you had amounts payable as commissions, or you had used commissions to buy packs, that amount is reported here. So you would have two different things. One is the original capital or rebuys have now been included in here. And then rebuys, that would be rebuys from earnings, and this would be rebuys from commissions and pending commissions. So you would have those two amounts. And then to see actually day by day, because there is a day-by-day report of how you are getting repaid, you click on this place right here, this view and use repayments made. All right, so that's the next step. And when you look at that, step 3 in that section, view all that, you will see detailed daily repayment amounts. So when people say they are not being paid, this is incorrect. There are amounts accumulating in everybody's back office in these two columns, one or the other of these two columns. If you had commissions, there will be some commissions over here. If you have packages, it will be accumulating here. Now what these two columns show is the amount that the company is paying on a day-by-day basis, and I'll give you a more recent illustration here in just a second. But the company will show how much, and it's usually 5, 6, 7 Bitcoin from its mining is being paid to packages, and a much smaller amount being paid to commissions. Out of all that, your allocation, so all the total amount of packages paid here, your allocation comes over here. Total amount paid for commissions by the company-wide, your allocation comes over here. So there's a company report and your allocation report every single day, 7 days a week. So this does accumulate, and you need to watch this. So the total packages will accumulate and show here, and the total commissions will accumulate here. Now this indicates, it's very small print, but it says once your 1.0 package and commission payment a balance of 100% or more reaches above a minimum amount, you'll be able to move it to the front page, to the 2.0 balance, or basically your overall balance, and use it for withdrawals as normal. So again, this was a critical step that people were missing, and a lot of wrong information out there, a lot of FUD, a lot of misinformation used either to get people to give up or to give hateful remarks or make scam comments. And I, not making any comments about those other than to say that they're factually inaccurate in relation to these payments. What USI-Tech is, aside from the payment process, is a subject of a separate debate. I'm not getting into that, and that's not a relevant point right here. We're just talking about how to get you, a USI-Tech distributor or affiliate, your funds back. So that's the only point of this video here. Okay, so on April the 8th, following up on their notice, they also made it clear that we no longer needed to manually transfer funds from BTC Pack 1.0, the balance to the wallet, so it's done automatically when enough funds accumulate. We saw that with their notice, but this also appeared in the back office. So before you had to say click here to move your repayment balances, that's no longer required. So again, you sometimes will see this button, but it doesn't actually need to be clicked anymore. Okay? So this is an example from yesterday, and just shows again kind of the same thing. It comes from comes from a phone. So this is not this is someone else's example, but a very helpful one. And the company had a much larger payment on the 13th of April than has been typical. As I mentioned before, it's been 5 or 6 or 7 and maybe 1 or 2 for here. This was 40, so people got a large amount, and you can see the first column is the total paid to packages, the second total paid to commissions, and then my share. So in this person's case, they got some money for BTC packages and some money for commission balances. And you can see the same was the case in previous days, but on this day it was a lot larger than before. So again, this one gained a certain amount for packages and a certain amount for commissions. And then once the total of your my share, your 2 totals from my share is enough, it's now transferred automatically from the section on BTC Pack 1.0 to your wallet where you can withdraw it. Okay. So another factor that's been going on here, just for those of you that are in the United States and Canada, USI-Tech terminated the USA and Canada again. They had done it on January the 5th in relation to being affiliates, but they now included it to include purchases of products and services. So they said they regret to announce that it will no longer operate. They gave a reason or an excuse that I don't think is as accurate, but that's a separate discussion, not pertinent here. But they do say that with immediate effect, they'll no longer accept new registrations or purchase of products and services within these jurisdictions. So there's no longer new people being registered, which I don't think was happening anyway, but because all the US and Canada affiliates had already been terminated January the 5th. But they had, I think, reopened the purchase of products and services, and they've now indicated that that stops. Then they have some further things that they say here, which are not relevant to this video. All right, now let's recap where we are, and then let's move forward and show you how to get your money in detail. All right, so this is what you need to do. You need to click on the My Dashboard function here, and once you've done that, you scroll down on your page and you find out your BTC package calculations. So you'll see the packs as we saw there, the total BTC. You'll have a figure here that you would want to tap into for packages, and a figure here that you'd want to tap into for your commissions. And this will show if you've made withdrawals. It will show you've made withdrawals, and if you've made partner rebuys, it will show that you've made partner rebuys. So then you read the calculations of the amount owed to you. And as I said before, these figures here replace your BTC. So you're not going to find how many packs you have. There's no report anymore of packages. What is reported is how much Bitcoin is owed to you from those BTC packs. Okay? So that part should be pretty clear. Now, the next step, click and view the use the repayments made. And this is the old system where you had to click this to move the money from the 1.0 to the 2.0. You don't need to do that. It'll be done automatically now, but basically it'll be done automatically when you have over 50 euros worth of Bitcoin in repayments. So then before you had to click move your repayments into your 2.0 balance to send those funds to your available balance, and then you could withdraw it. So this was the way it looked before. So you had to click to remove that. And again, as I just said, as of April the 8th and 9th, that's now done automatically. So only the new BTC packs 2.0 are in the main active mining packages area. When you see zeros there, don't freak out. You don't have any, there's no BTC 1.0 packs anymore. So when it shows 0, it just means 0, that you have 0 BTC 2.0 packs, unless you bought some. But not recommending that you do so. Just indicating that if you have a 0 there, it would be 0 unless you were going to be adventuring further and buying BTC Pack 2.0. So if you don't see yet your BTC 1.0 calculations, just be patient. This was a notice prepared prior to April the 9th. So for everybody, it should be now final, because they've said that. Repayments are being made daily, and they are expected to increase as more mining equipment and capacity is utilized. If you're unsure about anything, refer back to your USI sponsor. So this is something that one of the affiliates prepared. It wasn't done by ourselves. I'm just going over the information for you, not endorsing the information. It just happened to be something that was very useful, and in the absence of anything from the company, has been a good summary that a lot of people have found helpful. So I trust that you find it helpful as well. All right, let's move on now from here. So again, remember, now your balances, and there's a minimum amount. So in the back office, in the 1.0 section, your 1.0 balance will move automatically to the front page, 2.0, to your My Available balance, when at least 0.00742501 BTC is available, either in packages or in commissions. And this assumes that your account has been verified. So then it would be moved for withdrawal. If your account hasn't been verified, then you need to go through that verification. But this would be kind of a standard part of the package. All right, so let's assume you've got some balance and it's been moved to the first page. All right, so again, you're going to go to My Dashboard, and this is a live example from someone just in the last couple of days. So you can see they have a balance of 0.01 that has been moved from the 1.0 section. Now it appears on the first page in the main section. So and you can also see this is where your wallet is located. This was a North American wallet. I think the wallet is up here for people outside the USA and Canada, and down here for people in the USA and Canada. So this is a USA and Canada example, but your wallet would be down here. So once your balance gets big enough here, your balance will show here and accumulate here. And once it gets to the necessary level, you could then click on your wallet and make a transfer. So the next slide, we're going to just see how that would work. And I'm going to show you, this is an illustration of frustration because this amount isn't enough to transfer yet, but I'm going to show you in a live example how that would actually happen. All right, so you've gone from My Dashboard and you clicked on My Wallet. Now you're in the My Wallet area, and you can see the same amount that we were talking about before. And you want to try to withdraw. So what do? You click Withdraw, and that's going to open up a new section, and we'll open up that for you. You should see below this, by the way, I didn't report that because it's confidential for this person's account, whether they've had, but they had I think about 3 or 4 withdrawals. This is a reasonably good sized account. They had 3 or 4 withdrawals in the last month. So that's someone from the USA and Canada. I think it's right. Yeah, they had 4 withdrawals starting from March the 13th. With a pretty. This is like, I think, someone who has about 2,000 packs, something like that. So it was a pretty good sized account, and they're getting withdrawals from what I understand about every 10 days, maybe every 7 to 10 days. So anyway, in this example, the screenshots that they were able to provide to me, they could click Withdraw. So let's take a look at what happens next. Click Withdraw, and now you're in your withdraw area, and you're inside the wallet. You click Withdraw, and now you have this amount here. You have a drop-down menu. You click on that, and your wallet code would be in there. You can manage those wallet codes, and if you haven't set up your wallet in there, you need to set that up. But it'll show a BTC balance. So you can see this in this example. This is the amount that you saw from before. This is also shown here. And then notice, this amount is not big enough. So the minimum withdrawal amount is 0.01484, and they have 0.01. They don't have 0.01484. So they're about a 0.0047 or something like that short. So another day or two, I don't know how long it will take, but in a couple of day or 2 or 3, this amount will be enough, and then they could withdraw. So whatever is the max here, you can put in the max, and then you would be able to scroll down and continue with the withdrawal. So that's the actual process, and this would show you, the frustration that some people might feel. And let's kind of recap that. So as of the 15th, 16th, the best projection is that this process that we're looking at here, a little bit slow, is going to take quite some time and likely will not finish until 2019. So we're in April, and it may take quite some time. Now, in all transparency, I think people have to agree that USI-Tech had promised to give a full explanation, and they have not. But if they keep their promises and their current projections, the Bitcoin mining that is primarily funding, we saw that the mining from Ethereum mining and BTC mining is funding the repayment of BTC 1.0. That will increase from the current 130 petahash to 550 petahash in June 2018. I have seen projections that appear to be reasonable, that it would take 8 to 12 months. Once they have that full 550 petahash in place, a projection of 8 to 12 months from June 2018 to repay all the arrearages. That would mean, between April and June 2019 that everybody would repay. So that's going to anger some people, and perhaps rightly so, but it's the reality. Currently, people are making withdrawals, so you're hearing people, that people are not getting withdrawals. They are getting withdrawals, but it depends on the size of the account. So people with very large accounts currently do get enough. The example I showed you just a few minutes ago, they get enough money to withdraw every 7 to 14 days. Now that's really large accounts. 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 packs. People with that amount of packs or commissions are getting withdrawals, maybe every 3 or 4 days, and for a huge account, up to maybe every 10 to 14 days for still a large account. Now, medium-sized accounts currently get enough to withdraw about every 15 to 30 days. And I don't know, I'm just going to guess, but my sense talking to people is that, people in the amounts of, let's say, 50 or 100 packs up to 1,500, 1,000 or 2,000 packs, something like that. Medium-sized accounts. Some of those are pretty good-sized accounts, but that's how long it's taking to accumulate enough money to make a withdrawal right now. And then those with really small accounts, it has to be, and it is frustrating, and everybody can see that and feel that when you talk to people. So people that have, 5, 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 or even 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, they may have had one withdrawal because there was a good chunk of money at one point, but some people likely won't see another withdrawal for anywhere from a month to 3 months from now. And so they're feeling like the company is just dragging its feet and lying to them, and they don't see the process. So I am hoping that, although I'm not in any way, shape, or form defending the company here, just wanting people to understand the process, that repayments are underway, and what should be a reasonable expectation for when you, in your circumstances, might get it. Now, this pace that's described here, of course, is the current pace. So that pace should be a couple times faster starting from June 2018. So we're, 2 months or 10 weeks away from seeing the true pace of this repayment process, because we're not fully up to speed on repayments. And so this is the other thing that really is frustrating for people. So wanted people to, let's be transparent and open about that. But let's realize and wait for this to happen. I think since they are making the efforts, and there is abundant evidence that people are getting paid, thousands of people are getting paid, even if it's very small amounts. And you hear the joke, it'll take, I heard somebody say they'll put it in their will because it'll take 30 years, or 20 years, or 40 years. That's not really accurate. What people are not understanding, the people that make those kinds of comments have those small accounts, and so because they think the payments are only going to be every couple of months, what they don't understand is that those payments might be a quarter or an eighth of the amount that's owed to them when they get it, but because their own account is so small, it just takes a long time to pay. But we can see from the people that have mid and large size accounts and kind of extrapolate going forward. This is why you can see the prediction that it might take sometime in the second half of the first half of 2019 to finish the repayments. So I trust that this has been useful, give you a realistic assessment and give you some instruction on how to do it, and you can just monitor it. What we do is log into our accounts once a week at a minimum, twice a week maybe, just to keep up to speed and make sure, because as soon as we get money, we want to transfer it out to our wallet. I recommend that you would consider doing the same thing, but that's your choice. There are people doing different choices. The choices with your money, of course, are to buy additional packages, or to do nothing, or to withdraw. So I'm assuming for the purposes of this training that your interest is to withdraw. All right, so with that, we'll thank you for your interest and leave you with this information. Thank you again, and we wish you the greatest success in getting your funds and putting them to appropriate use in the future. Thank you very much.